Are live. Welcome to the When Soon Show, everybody.
Is the music still playing?
I don't know. I actually just heard something.
I can't. Yeah, that was me. If I undeafen my, and it doesn't even go through my earbuds, it goes through my speakers, like super loud.
All right. I think it is going, but I'm sure Eric's about to turn it off.
Yeah, but that's weird. I can't. I'm either deafened and muted, or both is off.
Yeah, I have that same thing. I don't know what the deal is with that.
Playing some like
I don't know if Discord changed it or if that's just
he's got some
bug.
Like movie tunes playing. It sounds like Roman Empire about to have a chariot joust. All right, the music is off, so now we're good to go.
Sweet.
That was interesting. Whew. All right. Let me get to the threadcast.
Put up these links. You want to start with some of those When Soon updates he's got for you at the top?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you still got to drop the links.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're live in the Discord and on YouTube and in the interwebs. What is it? September 5th? That's crazy. It's September 5th.
Year flew by.
Yeah. So while we're getting everything else geared up, let's quickly touch on the past week in all things Leo. So apparently monthly active users broke a record for August at 1348. So that's cool. MAUs trending higher. That's right. I forgot about labs.LeoFinance. So yeah, if you guys want to test out all the new things and have all the new features, you got to have labs in front of LeoFinance. Labs.LeoFinance. What do we add? We had a small hiccup over the weekend. The Leo proposal went unfunded by 1 million Hive power, but Lions together strong. We rallied, and 12 hours later, we got funded again. We are now 750K above the threshold. That's right. That support needs to continue. And like, not only like in terms of maintaining your vote, but also like just putting the word out so we get more votes to keep the DHF funded.
Yeah, there was like maybe it was like maybe 8 hours or so where we fell out of the funding. And basically there were a bunch of like big votes to the return proposal. So you know, we went below the funding rate for basically like 8 hours. And then you know, we put out a bunch of messages and stuff, and then you guys kind of rallied and we quickly got back over the line. We got like I don't know how much we got, like almost 2 million more votes for our proposal, and then that shot us above the line again. So, and then there was something weird. I don't know what the deal was with this, but a couple of like big accounts voted the proposal or voted the return proposal like right at the same time. And then Eric was actually talking to a few of them, and a couple of them said that they didn't vote the return proposal, but suddenly their vote cast for it, and they didn't know why.
Maybe they trail somebody or something.
Yeah, I don't know if there's actually trail voting.
Not the trail. What is it? No, but
you can set proxies.
Exactly, that's what I meant. Proxy.
Yeah, but if you set a proxy, your name doesn't show up. So like they're not proxying anybody. But their vote suddenly got cast for the return proposal, and they said they had been previously voting for it, but suddenly they were voting for it again. So I don't know. It was interesting, but regardless, we're pushing for 30 million high power supporting the proposal, supporting ours, so that we don't have to deal with kind of like playing the line, you know? So, you know, because when we start doing this marketing stuff and we already have committed to a bunch of different things, we don't want to have like iffy funding, you know, we want to be funded the whole time.
Yeah, that'll make it a pain in the butt.
It'll make it a huge pain accounting wise and everything to be, you know, setting up marketing and paying for stuff and then having, you know, wondering if the when the bill comes due, if the funds are going to be there. So yeah, I think we're looking good though. Like I said, we're like a little over $1 million or maybe a little under $1 million over the return proposal. And it's been growing a little bit every single day. So if you guys aren't voting or you know someone who isn't, consider voting for Leo.
Indeed. So yeah, there wasn't the what you call it this week in Leo, because I know you guys were going full force with the rebrand and some dev stuff. So with that said, obviously the rebrand is coming soon. Apparently there's a Zealy rebrand campaign will kick off next Monday. All right, so a new Zealy campaign next Monday. Awesome. What else do we got going on? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, the campaign's going to start next Monday, so be ready for it. That's going to be huge. It'll be the first of many Zealy campaigns, and it'll be a little different than the last one. We kind of took some notes on what went right, what went wrong on the last one, and I think this one's going to be a lot better.
Nice. And then obviously you and I are going to be in Vegas with some other Hive DAP reps and just, you know, Hivers at a conference representing the Hive brand and getting the word out about Leo.
Yeah. So you and I are going to be in Vegas next week, and we'll be talking about Hive. We'll be with a bunch of other Hive DApps, and you know, I think there's going to be a lot of devs and entrepreneurs and stuff at this conference. So we're going to be talking about why Leo's built on Hive, and you know, why we think other people should build here. Exactly. And then we're also going to have.
And while they're at it, jump on LeoFinance. Like, do you have a Twitter account? Yes, sweet. You should be on LeoFinance.
Right. So we'll talk about, you know, Leo and how it's Twitter on Hive, and we'll have a little QR code they can scan, and then they'll use the onboarding funnel that we're using for the DHF proposal too. So it'll be a really easy and smooth onboard. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a good chance that we onboard a pretty decent amount of people from this conference. And then at the very least, you know, especially if they're entrepreneurs and stuff, you know, let them get onboarded to Hive through Leo and see, you know, via Leo, what's possible on Hive. Because, you know, when you start to play around with this and use it, I think you start to realize how good the technology underpinning it is.
Indeed. Cool. So obviously, you know, we want to embrace the AMA. So I'm going to jump into the Threadcast and start funneling through questions. But before we do that, is there any other updates that you want to get out there?
I think you covered most of the major happenings right now. In terms of development, I actually saw this question in the Threadcast too. I've been reading through the early questions we got. People were asking when Zoom feature for images, and actually it's live. We pushed that secretly, silently into labs, so you guys can go out and test it right now. And this is a good opportunity for me to explain labs and why we have it. So if you haven't tried it yet, there's labs.leofinance.io, which is a separate version of the UI. And essentially it's like the more progressed version. It's like all the latest features are on it. And the reason we do that is so that we can test all the features. So we basically before we would like roll them out to a private UI where we would test them. And then when we thought they were ready, we would push them to the production UI on leofinance.io. So now what we're doing is we've got labs, which is basically the same thing we were doing privately, but now we just let all of you guys do it too. And it does help us catch bugs faster. And then obviously then when you're in production, once we push the features to production, which we do every Friday, the features are a lot more battle tested than they would otherwise be. So yeah, so if you want to get the latest features, kind of like, you know, beta testing, you guys can use labs.leofinance.io. I use both kind of side by side, because it kind of gives me a good lens of like what production feels like and what the new features feel like. But yeah, you guys should try it out. Just click on an image and then you can like use your mouse to scroll in and scroll out. So yeah, we're beta testing this. If you have any feedback on how that works, make a hashtag feedback thread. I do read all of those. But yeah, that's there's a couple new little features in there. There's animations, there's the image thing. There's some bug fixes to the publishing UI. So if you guys try publishing through the labs UI, you'll notice a few differences. If you highlight text in labs on the publish UI, then it allows you to like bold and italic. This is like a little feature, but something that people were requesting. I just pasted an image in the threadcast showing it. So yeah, feel free to try the new features on labs, and then obviously use hashtag feedback in a thread if you find bugs. And just be aware that labs is probably going to be buggy when you use it. Like, you know, you might find little bugs here and there. So just be aware about that.
Huh. I'm actually in, because I have a second tab open, I'm on regular LeoFinance, and I feel like that's actually buggy in terms of like Task posted something. He basically is testing. I mean, he did it in labs, it works fine, but he did it in regular, or at least I'm seeing it on regular.
What did
Leo.
he post?
Basically say, can you see the YouTube video inside? Look within and let me know. So I click on that, and then he has a comment that basically has the YouTube video, like it is showing up. But then like I try and comment on that, and it seems to actually, let's see if this loads. All right, so then I click on that comment, and then it just shows a YouTube link, but it still does not allow me to comment. But I'm seeing something new.
Wait, so you can't comment? You can't?
Actually, hold on. What? I can tell you why I can't comment. For some reason, it logged me out.
Oh yeah, when we push an update, a lot of times you guys are gonna get logged out. Just so
no,
you
but
know.
I had just logged back in. You know what? I logged in on labs.
Yeah,
That's funny. Yeah, so you gotta.
Yeah, they're separate UIs, so just think of they're literally separate, completely
PSA.
separate apps.
You gotta log in to all the things, guys.
Yeah. Task, that's actually he asked when fixing the centering on long form. That should be pushed to labs already. So like I said, a couple new features to the publish UI in labs. But yeah, try it out. Let me know if it's working.
Labs is working way better. Just gonna stay in lab world.
Well, yeah, the other thing about labs is that, you know, when we get bug fixes, we push them to labs first. So like, I know there's like a YouTube link thing. So that stuff obviously gets pushed to labs and then pushed to the production UI later.
But that's interesting now. I see something, what's new on regular LeoFinance. Underneath, like, you know, you have your comment and you have, you know, the all your buttons, you know, italics, bold, GIF, all that stuff. And then beneath that, there's that, it says live update disabled, and then it says author and oldest, and there's a drop down. That's new.
Yeah, it's so when you're in a threadcast, it's threadcast mode. When you're not in a threadcast, you can still have live updating. So like, let's say it's disabled by default. So if you click on it one time, and this is actually there was a fix pushed for this, because if you're on the production UI, it's actually kind of hard to tell if it's clicked or not. There's not a good indicator if it's disabled. But if you go on labs, it's very obvious that it's either disabled or enabled. And so when you first get to a page, any thread, when you open it, it's disabled. But like, let's say that you open a thread from Taskmaster and then you're having kind of like a real-time conversation with him. You can click it once to enable it. And then instead of having to like refresh to wait for Taskmaster's comment to reply to you, it'll just automatically show his replies to you like a thread cast, basically. So it's like a thread cast, but not a thread cast.
Yeah.
And then the author and oldest, those are sorting features. So you can sort by users, and then you can sort by like latest, oldest votes and replies.
Nice. Cool. Well, start scanning through the Redcast questions.
Let's do it.
Let me queue up the recap post.
Yeah, Taskmaster just posted an image that it was fixed. The centering on posts. So
Nice.
fix pushed.
And yeah, let's get in as many questions as we can, because next week will be a bye week. I'm already talking football terms because football kicks off on Thursday. Hell yeah. My weekends are about to disappear.
Wow.
But yeah, so next week we will be traveling to the Vegas conference.
Yep.
So no when soon show. And then
May or
we'll be
may not
back.
have a live, if we can squeeze it in somewhere with the conference. We may or may not have a live when soon show.
That would be cool. Maybe
Yeah, I think
even
it'd
if
be cool.
even if it's just short, do a live from
Yeah,
there.
short from like an iPhone, or I don't know. We don't have heavy equipment for the when soon
Yeah.
show yet. Not yet, but soon.
In fact, you know what? That just reminded me. I should probably log into LeoFinance on my phone on the web based, because I never use it. I'm always just laptop. So I mean, I'll
It
bring my
actually works
laptop
really well on
with
phone. I'm
me.
probably 50-50 laptop and phone.
Gotcha. I'll bring my laptop regardless, because I mean, heck, there's always options trades I'm gonna have to tend to. But yeah, I gotta make sure I log in on my phone. Dig up those private keys. Actually, more so just posting key. Which is a big benefit about Hive and obviously Leo, and some of the talking points I saw in regards to the conference in Vegas. And that is one of the things that's pretty sweet about the Hive blockchain, and therefore LeoFinance, that I think we don't really talk about often, is the fact that you're not dealing with like a wallet address of random numbers and shit. Like, you just use your username. So I think
Yeah.
that makes it way, like, that is such a point that we should be driven and marketed, because no one wants to deal with wallet addresses in terms of like, normies. But it's
Yeah.
like, if I can send my, if you're on a centralized exchange that actually, has Hive, and you can, use more so people outside of the US. But the fact that you literally just send your Hive to your username, like, you don't have to remember some random, or just whatever, dig
Yeah.
it up, copy paste, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and
So
you can log in. I mean, like, one thing that I do a lot is like, if I'm sending anything on Hive to another Hive user, I can like I can look up their username on the platform, like on Leo or PeakD or
yep.
whatever. And then I can go to their profile and I can see like their reputation and their posts and stuff. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is like, there's no typo. I know that this is the right one.
Yeah,
And
you
then I
got the
just
right
copy
person.
their username. So it is a huge point, and something that I think we should be driving home. Probably bring it up at the conference too.
Yeah, I think it's one of the big bars when it comes to crypto and adoption. So it's funny. That's a big win for the Hive blockchain and for the dApps. But on the flip side, the problem is you can't access Hive easily as just like a regular end user because it's not on Coinbase, it's not on,
Right.
Gemini, it's not on any of the centralized exchanges that, US folk can get on. So again, something good for outside the US. In fact, if anything, Hive should probably be focusing on more outside of the US conferences.
Yeah, well, and
Because
I think
you got two
exchanges should
components.
start to get prioritized too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's something that's been, I think, getting worked on for a long time, but the exchanges basically just hate because they want like a central authority. They're like,
Right.
who's
They
the
want
who's the
someone to yell
Vitalik?
at.
Like,
Yeah.
so I know there's a couple people that are kind of like, representing, so to speak, in terms of like,
Yeah. I mean, I think, and I'm just spitballing here. I have never shared this idea with anybody, but I did think about it. I think that there should be some sort of top 20 witness, essentially like a direct line of communication between the top 20 witnesses and exchanges, where basically any exchange can point to the top 20 witnesses and say, okay, you guys run this blockchain. Like, and I know that that's, we want to talk about how Hive is decentralized and, that it's not run by anybody. But at the end of the day, like if we want to be working with centralized companies and exchanges, we're going to have someone to point to and say, you're in charge. And the whole point of, delegated proof of stake is that all the users voted these top 20 witnesses into power, so to speak. So, I think all we need to do is tell exchanges that these are the leaders of the chain and they can make quick decisions. And, if they make the wrong decision or whatever, then, then witness votes can be changed because that's ultimately what the governance is all about.
100%. Cool. You want to start attacking some questions in the threadcast? I'm just getting situated with the recap post here, and then I'll start scanning through myself.
Yeah, let's do it. One question from Alex Rourke. I'm wondering if adding liquidity to pools with HBD pairs helps with liquidity, like on Cub, Polycub. I'd like your thoughts. Yeah, I mean, adding liquidity definitely helps. Adding to those pairs. We've been working on that bridge update that I've been talking about for a while. So that update is now live for Leo, and we've been testing it and watching it very closely. So that fix is going for BHBD, Beehive, PHBD, Phive very soon. And I'm gonna put a bet in that we're back to normal operations within the next month. Completely normal, as in like you can bridge at any time. There's a lot of liquidity. There's no failed wraps and unwraps. That is the goal before the end of the month. So I would say by Hive Fest, actually, which is pretty much the end of the month, but it's like September 23rd or something. I think we'll be looking good for that.
So the bridge is pretty much back in action and doing its thing.
Yep. Yeah. It's getting there. It is getting there. And it's been a big pain in the butt, but we are at the end of the line. Almost ready.
Okay.
Pearly asked when adoption campaign. It's going to be next Monday.
Oh, that's right, the New Zealand campaign. So hold on. So circling back, as far as the bridge goes, if I wanted to do a bridge transaction right now, should I, or should I be waiting like another week?
You can, and then if it fails, which it might, I don't know, it's kind of 50-50
Gotcha.
with the current bridge. Well, unless you're talking like Leo, like I'm talking specifically BHBD and Beehive, because we already pushed a fix for the Hive engine, because there's basically two bridge versions. There's actually technically three, but the other one's pretty similar. But there's a Hive engine version, because you're using Hive engine tokens. It's completely different than using like Hive on the blockchain, like Hive or HBD, because you're using like custom JSONs and stuff. to send those Hive Engine second layer tokens. It's literally like you've got a second layer Oracle, and that's the bridge for that. And then you've got the first layer, the layer 1 Oracle, which is for Hive and HBD. So we pushed a fix already for the layer 2 Oracle, and then we just need to push it for layer 1.
Nice.
Yep. Taskmaster is doing more testing with YouTube video embeds. Said if you don't use the share feature, you just copy the URL at the top and then paste that. It works. If you don't mind like figuring out what the little nuances are and then putting it in a hashtag feedback thread, I will put it on the list to fix all the little nuances of YouTube links. I know one fix was pushed, but maybe it didn't fix everything. So everyone is eager to hear the rebranding news. Yeah, it's gonna be fun times. The Leo token name is not changing. That'll be my hint for today. I'm not gonna tell you what the new name is for the UI, but the name of Leo is not changing for the token, at least. So
That's interesting.
It gives way to the rebranding. You guys can make your own speculations, but then that it must be something relatively close to Leo or related to it.
The reason I think is interesting is because there was, I'm sure it's still out there, but I might be a dead project, but there was a Leo token that was listed on some centralized exchanges, no US based ones. And just I think it turned out to be just another shit coin, and obviously, it's worth like a whole lot of nothing now. But that was something I've always thought about. Not that I guess the Leo token will really be on sexes, but
yeah, well, at the end of the day, I don't think Leo itself would be on centralized exchanges. I think it would be B Leo, P Leo, or W Leo, because those are, centralized exchanges already have all the tech for that. It's more just a matter of getting us listed. So yeah, but I obviously I'm a big proponent of decentralized exchanges, and I've been talking to someone at Thorchain about getting Leo, one of the wrapped versions of Leo, probably B Leo if I had to guess. Maybe W Leo though. I'm kind of trying to push for W Leo, but obviously the fees are higher there. So one of the wrap versions of Leo, and then BHBD to start, and then Beehive I think will closely follow, and getting those pools up on Thorchain. That'll be huge, because then you will literally think about actually what you were just talking about earlier, where there's a problem for especially people in the US to buy Hive, right? Because there's not that many exchanges. With a Thorchain listing for Beehive, you'd be able to use native Bitcoin, native Ethereum, or anything else, and you can instantly buy Hive through and using Thorchain pools. So you would basically, for example, if you wanted Hive and you use Coinbase, you could buy Bitcoin on Coinbase, send it to your Bitcoin wallet, if you use a Ledger or whatever you use for your Bitcoin wallet, or MetaMask, MetaMask if you're using Ethereum, obviously. But you could have Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then you could go to Thorchain and you could swap it directly for Beehive, and then unwrap the Beehive to Hive, and then you literally, boom, you just bought Hive in only a few steps. It would probably be one of the easiest routes to buy Hive, especially in the US. Nice. And then we're also working on a swap module. I'm actually really excited about this. We talked about this a long time ago. But I'm working on a swap module that's going to get added to the Leo UI, and you'll be able to swap it. Basically, it'll be like a dream scenario for swapping for Beehive and BHBD. So imagine you use the swap module and you want to buy Hive, and you've got BUSD, for example. You would be able to connect your wallet to the Leo UI, and then you would choose BUSD for the swap in, and then you would choose Hive for the swap out. And what the UI will do is you send your BUSD, and then the UI swaps it for Beehive, and then the module, once that completes, it'll say like transaction completed. Then it'll show another button and it'll say unwrap to native Hive. And then you would click that, and then it would give you the native Hive directly in your Hive wallet. So it literally will be like stupid easy to buy Hive or sell Hive, or buy HBD or sell HBD, all directly on the Leo UI, and it'll route everything on the back end through Beehive and BHBD. Obviously, I've been waiting for this new bridge version because I want everything to be really flawless. Like, I don't want failed wraps happening. So before we put it on the Leo UI, it's got to be bulletproof.
Indeed. So Time Travelers asked about Chain, Beehive, and PHBD, which, I mean, obviously that's something that's been bandied about for quite some time.
Yeah, I think it would have a hugely positive effect, because it would be, and they've recently launched streaming swaps, which, just imagine that basically even on like $100,000 in liquidity, you can do a streaming swap for $50,000 to buy 50,000 HBD. And what it'll do is you set like a time limit and all that stuff, and then it does your swap over a set of time. So like you could set it to swap for HBD like over the course of 60 days, and it'll just keep swapping, and then arbitrageurs come in and they even out the pool in between your transactions, so that you can obviously keep buying. So the amount of trading activity that we could start seeing on BHBD and Beehive would be completely unprecedented.
Caleb Marvel asked something that I think is already in the works. He asked if it's possible making a little video clip on Threads, like a short video of doing an activity or something. And I think that is somewhere down the line, right?
Sorry, say it one more time.
So basically like posting a short video. Like, obviously you can, right now we can post
like
a
video
link
shorts
from YouTube, but like as far as doing like video clips directly on LeoFinance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
like essentially shorts.
Yeah, so Leo Shorts is something that we're actually working on right now. The dev ran into a few issues with it, but I am hoping to get it live. It'll definitely be live before Hive Fest. So I just
nice.
don't have an exact date. Yeah, I don't have an exact date. But yeah, it's going to use 3Speaks backend, and then you'll have a record. There'll be like a new record button on the Leo UI, like in threads. So when you make a thread, kind of like near the polls button, you'll be able to hit record, and then you could record a video of yourself or whatever you want to record, and then you can hit thread, and it'll just post it as a thread, and it'll be up to 60 seconds, and it'll be super easy to use, super cool. I'm excited for it. I know Taskmaster's excited.
I mean, heck, I'm excited. That's something I'll let
Yeah,
Sure.
it would be really cool, I think, and you would be able to just make short quick clips on the fly.
That is good to know. I'm actually glad I saw that question. I'm looking forward to that.
Herculand said, Cal, you said before the end of the year that Leo will be 1-to-1 with Hive. Your dream is still far from true. Yeah, but maybe soon it won't be far from true.
Right. All you need is one moonshot.
Yeah.
I mean, so that actually leads to a good question, because, part of potential demands for Leo is obviously just burn from, ad revenue. So what's new in regards to that, if anything? And what are we calling it now? Is it like the Leo, like roars or something like that, I think it's called now?
No, it's Leo ads, because the Leo
ads.
token is not changing.
Okay.
But yeah, Leo ads. So I talked about that before, that we were working on the Evergreen protocol, where you guys will be able to earn revenue checks basically from your long form content. So it'll take into account like okay, you got, a total of 10,000 views on your long form in the last 30 days. And then it'll send you, the value of that. It'll send you a percentage of that ad revenue to your Hive account every single month. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of like what Twitter's doing, but it's on a much better scale, in my opinion, because we're able, thanks to Hive and free transactions, we're able to send, as little as 0.001 Leo. So we'll be able to send revenue checks to basically anybody who's bringing even 100 views or 1,000 views, or whatever minimum bar we need to set so that it's a scalable system. We'll be able to send those revenue checks out. And then obviously you've got the Leo. So Leo ad revenue as a whole buys Leo off the market, and then it adds it to Leo Power balances. So there's going to be a new Leo Power APY. So if you're staking Leo Power, you'll just get that APY. And that yield comes from bought Leo from the ad revenue. So it's pretty cool. And then it'll just enter your account, kind of like Hive Power APY. So you guys know there's like a couple percent APY that you earn if you have Hive Power staked that's outside of curation rewards. It'll be like that, but instead of inflation, it's actually buybacks. So yeah, the ad partners basically send crypto into the smart contract, and then it buys the Leo.
So and again, I haven't looked at it in years. So Brando28 updated me on the Leo token that I mentioned that's on like centralized exchanges, whatever blockchain / project that is. It is not a nothing coin. It is actually 21 on CoinGecko. It is actually apparently got a cap bigger than Chainlink and Stellar, and it's right under Avalanche. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I don't even know really what I've heard of it, obviously, but I have no idea what they actually do.
Well, as I'm saying, that's what's crazy about crypto. I mean, there's so many projects out there, and you can have even top 20 projects or top 50 that you never even heard of, because it's funny too, is I'm looking at that screenshot I did, and I'm obviously familiar with every coin except for that other Leo, because it's like Bitcoin Cash, Avalanche, Stellar, Chainlink. It's funny, man. Stellar's been around forever. So many people are high on that, because that's a XLM. That's a privacy coin.
Yeah, I remember how big that was before.
All right, what else do we got for questions? I'm going to scroll down to some older stuff. That's interesting. Some people are having issues a little bit with indexing and gateway timeouts, but it seems like eventually it's working for everybody in terms of labs.
Yeah, I think you might just need to refresh if you get that. Seems to be a Hive node thing, but we're looking into it.
All right. Someone asked, obviously we just talked about video. Someone just asked about audio features on Threads, but I mean, we have video, then I guess we have audio.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe eventually we'll do like little audio messages and stuff, but probably video will be the focus. And I also saw Taskmaster ask, will Shorts have its own page? Will we have a way to look like YouTube or 3Speak? They'll have their own feed, so you'll be able to choose to see the Shorts feed. And my plan is to make it look a lot like TikTok, YouTube, where if you look at the Shorts feeds on TikTok and YouTube, obviously TikTok is all Shorts, but if you look at those feeds, basically it shows you one video, like the video takes up the whole screen, and then you just swipe up and swipe down to see, like you swipe down, like you swipe up to see the next video. You guys know what I'm talking about. You swipe and then you see the next video. So it's going to work exactly like that. Is going to be the end point for it. It may not look like that right at the beginning, but that will be the end point for it.
That was a good question that I was just getting in there. So yeah, I was actually trying to track down test questions so I get added to the recap. So I kind of didn't quite catch your answer. Was the answer basically yes?
Yes, essentially. Also, if you ever want to find a specific thread from someone in the threadcast, you can hit author and then see it. You can find the author. So like I'll post this screenshot in the threadcast, but you can see here that I selected Taskmaster, and then below it changes the whole threadcast to be only threads from Taskmaster. It's a task cast.
Threads from Task. That just sounds like all sorts of craziness.
Beauty, we already talked about the rebranding. It's going to be coinciding with the new Zeely campaign. Leo token name is going to remain the same, but the platform's name is going to change. Also, LeoFinance is still remaining too, but it's instead of being the overarching name, LeoFinance, it's going to be moved to being the name of the community. So like there's going to be like the LeoFinance community. You can already, obviously if you go to communities, there's still the LeoFinance community there. So that LeoFinance name is going to remain there. And that community will still be for crypto and finance, but then the name, essentially the rebranding is really just changing the logo and the URL. And then obviously what we call the platform. That's, everything else is remaining the same. The Leo token name is remaining the same. The LeoFinance community isn't going away. It's just going to be there. It's just not going to be the overarching name. So
Alex Rourke loves Hive stats and would love to see some Hive stats development.
Yeah, I have a couple of feature ideas in mind for Hive stats and tying it to Leo directly as well. So soon. Maybe we'll get something out before Hive Fest. Yeah, virtual growth. I have been thinking about a feature to basically where you can tag your own question as a question, maybe even by just putting hashtag question, and then we would be able to sort the threadcast by questions, so that we can see like engagement versus questions and kind of mix it in.
Wow, virtual growth. That is a throwback. That is a name that has been around since my first day on the Hive blockchain. He's been around a long time. Hope all is well, sir. I like, I guess it's Mariah. I like that goal. Her dream is to accumulate 25,000 Leo power within her first 5 years on Hive. Dream, goal, and a mission. Exactly.
Do it. You got this.
That reminds me of a Rush lyric that now I'm forgetting exactly how it goes. The song is called Mission, and he says something to that extent. Like, I think it's like a spirit with a dream or something like that. Oh, spirit with a vision is a dream on a mission. That's what it was. I don't know. Always an inspiring lyric.
Alex Rourke asked, give me a ballpark figure. What would it take in terms of transactions, custom JSON, etc., to start to fill up Hive blocks? I'm asking because I'd love to see resource credits start to get more expensive to drive more power ups. Yeah, I've also talked a lot about how I think resource credits getting more expensive would be really bullish for Hive. You look at blockchains like Ethereum, and their entire value proposition is transaction fees, and the more transaction fees there are, the more bullish it is for Ethereum. Essentially, like you don't want them to be too high where people don't transact, but you also don't want them to be too low where it's free to transact and then there's no the blockchain isn't soaking up value. It's almost like if a company has if Apple has the iPhone, and instead of selling it for a profit, they sell it at cost. So as like from a business perspective, like I think Hive resource credits getting more expensive would be really bullish, because right now we're kind of just giving away data storage for free. And one of the big selling points of Hive is that it's fast, free transactions. But I think we can still maintain that selling point, but have, because of the Hive power, like the whole resource credit system where you have rechargeable gas. Essentially, you frame it as rechargeable gas fees. That's how I frame it whenever I explain it to people, especially if I know they're coming from like a Ethereum EVM background. I always kind of frame it as resource credit. Resource credits are just rechargeable gas fees. So essentially it's free to transact. But if you transact a lot, then you need to buy Hive power and stake it, which is how I think it should be. I think if you don't transact a lot, it should be free and you should just not even have to worry about it. If you're just an average user. And I think the dApps should handle that. Like us, we should have a bunch of Hive power, and then, we should be delegating RCs to our newly onboarded users. And then, if you are a heavy user or you're a dApp, or, if you're like Taskmaster, for example, then maybe you should, have a little bit of an incentive to hold Hive power through resource credits. So I've always been a believer of that. And in terms of how much it would take to make resource credits expensive in the terms of I'm talking about, I honestly, I don't know. A lot. I think it would take a lot of transactions. I think Splinterlands was kind of getting close to filling up blocks at like peak bull market. I kind of remember that they were, on that trajectory, and a lot of blocks were starting to get filled up. But I would say once we have like 5 to 10 apps like the size of Splinterlands, then we might see blocks starting to get full.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the fifth grader way to look at RC credits is kind of like the equivalent to a power bar or energy bar in a video game, whether it's the turbo button in Madden or whatever life meter in your favorite fighter game. It uses up, and then you have to like maintain or chill out until the bar starts coming back up. So it doesn't cost you anything but time, essentially. I think that's a really easy way to look at it. Obviously, I was back when I played video games, I played a lot of Madden, so I'm familiar with the turbo button, and you gotta let off the trigger and let the juice come back up.
Yep. Esme Smith asked, is it possible to get a section in settings from where we can go to Leo ads to run user ads like we have option on YouTube and Twitter? I think you mean like to have your own, like if let's say like a company or like Splinterlands wants to come in and run an ad on Leo. Yeah, we are building our own like in-house app or section of the UI where apps like Splinterlands or companies or anyone, even if a user wants to advertise whatever they want to advertise, like let's say Taskmaster writes a book, or Mitch wants to advertise Security Cat's guide to Bitcoin. There's going to be a section of the UI where you could go and create an ad. It'll give you like all the requirements in terms of banner sizing and everything. And then you could create a campaign and choose your budget, basically the same way that Facebook ads works, or Twitter ads, any of these big social medias, they all work kind of the same way. So we're going to have that. And then anyone will be able to run an ad basically.
Where's that question?
Esme Smith.
All right, I'm trying to find it. I want to add
it's
it.
like 3 minutes ago.
I just found it. Yes. Add it to the recap post, because that is a common question that people want to know.
John Tim said, I think Threadcast could use up a lot of RCs. I agree. I think, we do like almost 1,000 comments now on every Threadcast. So we're at 528 now.
Task was saying in a thread like a minute ago, basically, he said we need basically like 1 million transactions a day on threads, and that will really get things juiced up.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but on the Labs UI, there's also a new feature. It's something you notice only if you're like kind of looking for it, or you might just notice it randomly when you're using the UI. But now, when someone replies to a thread, it updates. It has like a little dance emoji. It's kind of hard to see, but we're gonna make it a little more visual so that you notice it. But essentially, like let's say I'm looking at a thread right now, like I'm looking at Ijax's thread. If someone were to comment on that thread right now, it would have like a little pop-up thing, and it'll change the number of replies to 1 without refreshing the UI. So it's like real time showing you the up, and it does it for upvotes and for replies. So that is a big beta feature right now, and we need a lot more testing for it. So but I just saw it literally just happened right before my eyes on Taskmaster's thread. I saw that he got a vote. So it's cool. It shows you like more real time, and the end goal is that it's going to look a lot like Twitter. I would say probably in the next like week when we start polishing the feature a little bit more. It's going to look a lot more like Twitter, where like if you look at a really like heavily active tweet, you see like the likes going up and the replies going up. You kind of see like the ticker going up. So that's going to happen for us. I see some people posting, or maybe just one person, I can't tell, posting that they're getting host errors. Try refreshing and try using the Labs UI if you keep getting it. I think we pushed a fix for that, but it's on Labs and not production yet. But we're going to push that to production probably before Friday. Just to get it out.
You know, this is something I feel like I should have been doing over the years that I haven't. So Alex Rourke mentioned, so he said, give me your thoughts on Hive account creation tokens. I still claim some every day, thinking that demand for them could go up sometime in the future, but I'm guessing. I'm going to piggyback off that question as well and be like, this is probably ridiculous that I actually don't know, because I really just didn't pay attention, but I have no idea how to even claim Hive creation tokens.
The best way actually is to use Hive keychain. You can automatically sorry, I lost my train of thought. You can set it so that it automatically claims account creation tokens for you.
Well, son of a gun. I could have had that been going on for the last X amount of years. All right, what do we have here? Tokens. Oh, no, that's something else. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. Apparently, I need to step up my game because my resource credits on keychain right now are showing 100%.
Yep, just set it on hit keychain and then go to advanced settings. Sorry, no, not that. Go to user preferences and then automated tasks.
Automated tasks.
And then you can choose which account, like if you got multiple accounts.
Yep,
and then you can yep. So you can do claim savings interest. You can do claim that actually is a big one that they added recently.
Oh, so yeah, no, I see.
Auto claim your HBD interest.
Yeah, apparently I have insufficient Hive power to claim accounts.
Yeah, you need. I forgot what the bar is. Like last time I looked, it was like 5,000 or something like that to claim accounts.
Oh, that's funny. So I have more than 5,000, but I've delegated, I think, like a third of it. So that's too funny. Well, might have to just go and pull my LeoFinance delegation. Kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. The question about like will account creation tokens get, have value in the future and you can trade them? I really don't know. I personally, I don't think so, because I just think that the people that will use them, like dApps like us, would like, between our like 3 million Hive power that we've got, we're claiming tokens like left and right. So
And I think that also takes away from, what is kind of the pitch with Leo is that, and just Hive on in general, but especially Leo is like, quick, free account creation,
yeah.
if it's the only way that it costing something to create an account is if basically Leo becomes super viral, super popular, and then you have like that FOMO, and then it's like almost like this exclusivity thing where it's just like, oh well, you can't just, not anyone can just create an account. But I still don't even think that's going to go over, because I mean, if that's the case, at this point you figure like Twitter or something would have been able to charge for accounts, and we see how that goes anytime Elon wants to try and start charging for anything now that he's taken over.
Yeah, I think the best model is like a freemium. I've always been a big believer in freemium.
Yep.
Make it free to start and then pay for extras.
Cool. All right, so we're creeping up. I think we're right around the 1 hour mark. We're getting close. So let's see what other questions we can grab here before we wrap up.
Yeah, TASAS is LeoFinance claiming accounts. Yeah, we've got it automatically claiming. We claim like a ridiculous amount of accounts per day. I think we've got over 60 or 70,000 account creation tokens now, something like that. So we're claiming like hundreds of accounts per day. And if that ever becomes an issue, I've talked to a few big Hive stakeholders who've offered us their account tokens as well for free. So
Nice.
if we do start onboarding and that becomes a problem, which would be a great problem to have, because it means we've onboarded like almost 100,000 accounts at that point, then we can start tapping into some of these big stakeholders who, between all of us, them and then Leo, probably have well over 1 million account creation tokens. So we would be looking at like doubling the entire account size on like number of accounts on Hive by the time we eat through all those.
So you know what? Kind of speaking of some of this, I don't know, like just more functionality stuff and basic stuff and things that have been around for a while that we don't touch on often. LeoFinance delegation. That's something, obviously it's out there, but it's not something that gets talked about much anymore. So when someone delegates Hive power to the LeoFinance account, remind everyone what it is that is the benefit of that.
Yeah, so you can delegate Hive power to @leo.voter, and then you earn 16% APY paid out as Leo every single day. It pays out around like 8 p.m. Eastern is when it pays out. And you'll just get Leo every single day. And then the Leo.voter account is used to claim accounts like we were talking about. And then also we use it to upvote the community. So when people create good long form content, we have like a whole curation system and curators that are looking for good long form content that's posted from LeoFinance. And we're curating you guys. So it rewards the community. It gets us account creation tokens. So overall, very positive for the platform. And then, yeah, like I was saying about the account creation as well, kind of similar to what I was saying about RCs, is that like as a platform like us grows, if we start to eat through and we start getting on a trajectory where we're claiming less accounts than we're creating every day, because we have new signups that are more than a couple hundred a day in terms of what we can we're claiming like a couple hundred accounts a day. So if we start onboarding like 1,000 accounts a day, so we see that we're starting to eat through our like reserves, so to speak, and we're not, it's not sustainable anymore in terms of account creation tokens, then we could always buy more Hive power it up, and then claim more. So it's another use case for Hive power that I don't think a lot of people see. Lukiel asked, how do I search for my thread storms? Go to your profile. This is a good little live tutorial. So go to your profile, and then it'll say search among threads of Lukiel, your account name. And then you can search thread storm, just the word, thread storm. And now I see all your thread storms. It just sorts by all your thread storms that you've ever created. So I see it going all the way back 25 days ago. All your thread storms. So that's how you do it. Paste that image into the threadcast. You're welcome.
Cool. Just put the when soon recap in the threadcast and also dropped it in Discord. The threads are flying in. All right, we're at 519, which is probably just the top level. So 611. There you go. Over 600 in about an hour. Nice. Thread storm. Cool. All right. So yeah, next week we may try and do a live from the Breathe conference, crypto conference. No promises. We'll see how the tech behaves and whatnot. And if not, and that won't be on Tuesday. That will either be Wednesday or Thursday during the conference. So they will not be the standard When Soon show next Tuesday, the 12th. Like I said, maybe 13th, 14th, we might try and go live from the conference. Otherwise, we will be back on schedule September 19th with the When Soon. And then I believe there will be a update on Monday, the 11th, with all the Leo happenings for this week.
Yep.
From Cal and Nomad Soul. Cool deal. Well,
Sweet.
Until then, we'll see you guys in the interwebs, and apparently I will see Cal in person.
Yep.
I will be able to finally
See you
verify
next
that
week.
he is human. And then after that, I only have Taskmaster left. Just got to verify Task is also an actual human. And then my mission is complete. Yeah, then my mission is complete. I can retire.
He's always covering his eyes for a reason.
Right, exactly.
Real.
Can't see the Terminator eyes. Awesome. All right, guys.
Sweet.
Well, appreciate all the questions, and we will see you on the next one.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Go vote the cat. We will see you guys in about a week, maybe 2 weeks. And yep. Stay tuned for big updates.
Exactly.
Peace.
Cool.